All right, we are on our final section of the Chapter 18 Milk Notes, discussing about cooking and storing milk. First of all, when you are cooking with milk, any dairy products you should always cook to a low to medium heat because it is very easily burned, curdled, lots of different things that can happen. And this doesn't just include milk. This also includes cheese, yogurt, other dairy products as well. So the three main problems we discuss are milk skin or film, scorching, and curdling. And just to encompass all three, the easiest way to prevent all three is to stir constantly and use low heat. Now, each of those also, there's some specific things that you can do. So first of all, milk skin. This description at the top right here just kind of describes what happens. Like I told you in class, what happens are when you get a skin or film on the top of your milk when you're cooking, this can happen like if you're making a cooked pudding or something, those proteins in the milk start to collect at the top. You do not want to skim them off, okay? You don't want to throw that away. What you want to do is try to whisk it back in if it happens. You can kind of see right here some images of this. This is that skin that can form on the top. You can kind of see it there and there as well. So again, you want to whisk that back in if it happens. Scorched milk, this is an image of scorched milk. If you do burn it, what happens, scorching is burning. The proteins and the sugars collect at the sides and the bottom and burn and stick to the pan. And this is what your pan will look like when you dump it out. And you can kind of see it here. You want to avoid that. Now, some recipes will tell you to scald milk. And pretty much what that means is it the same as scorching? Scalding is kind of heating it right below boiling, and some recipes will call you to do that, and they're kind of older recipes, and the reason they typically call for that is to kill off any bacteria or help, what it says right here, to destroy the enzymes that would keep the milk from thickening the recipe. Pasteurization essentially accomplishes both of these things, so it's not necessarily important to do that, but if you want to because the recipe calls for it, you can. All right, so those are two of the problems, the skin and the scorching. The third problem is curdling, and curdling just happens when the solids kind of pull away from the liquid. This is an image. It's kind of hard to see there, actually. It's kind of unappetizing. It won't hurt you, but it is kind of frustrating and unappetizing. So here are some tips to prevent the milk curdling. Don't let it boil. And sometimes you do have to bring it to that boil. So if you are going to have to do that, you need to stir it constantly, bring it to a boil slowly. Here's some other tips. Watch acidic foods. Temper the milk means don't add the milk necessarily right away to a hot liquid if it's cold. Okay, you kind of slowly add a little bit at a time. That's another option. So anyway, that's just some advice for you. And then buying and storing the milk, always look at the sell-by date on the package. We did mention that you typically can use a dairy product 5 days past the sell-by date, but use your good judgment. If you're questioning if it's curdled, if it smells off, if it looks off, throw it away. All dairy products should be refrigerated and stored in tightly closed containers away from light. The riboflavin is light sensitive, that B vitamin, and it is easily destroyed by light. It shouldn't really be an issue in this day and age, but just be aware of that. Butter you refrigerate. You can keep it several weeks. You can even freeze it for 9 months. And then ice cream, we talked about covering it to prevent freezer burn. If you don't eat your ice cream quickly like we do in our house. We eat it pretty quickly. But if it's going to last a while, you can cover it with a saran wrap before putting the lid on, and that kind of prevents those ice crystals from forming at the top. All right, that is the end of our milk unit.